Cherryland Mall in Traverse City. And it's certainly not a mall anymore. Oh, there's an Asian buffet there. So there's a Sears store still here, and that's a big Sears store, and it was here when the mall was here, but this used to be a giant enclosed mall, the first really big enclosed mall in Traverse City, and now it has been converted into a strip mall. The anchor stores here, when it was new, were Sears, Prangies, and Kmart. And now it's Sears, but the enclosed part of the mall has all been opened up, and Yonkers, which took over for Prangies, is still here. This was the main entrance of the mall, and like the courtyard here inside, that was all enclosed. And then the stores, oh, look at that, the Kmart's even still here. Actually it's not, I think it's closed, or about to close, but
it's got some sort of sale going on.
Yeah, so this was the Kmart. The Kmart was never actually enclosed in the mall, but it was down here on the end, and it went all the way out to the end. These rows of stores were never here before. It was Kmart all the way out to the end of the parking lot. And the Lawn and Garden Center was on the right side here of the Kmart, right behind where all these stores here are now. This was a big deal when this opened in Traverse City, because we didn't have a big shopping mall at the time, and everybody was so excited about. There's the edge of the Kmart where the auto service center was. You can see the brick there's the original building part of this mall, and the white part was added on when they converted it to an open strip mall. And the garden center was the area back there enclosed by the fenced in area. And there was also a back entrance. You could drive around back and go in through Sears at the back where the Sears auto service was. Pretty cool place back in the day. Hung out for a lot of hours here at Cherryland Mall back in the day. And the rest of Garfield, in this area at least, looks pretty similar. Taco House is still here, and all the car dealers are still pretty much the same as they were back then. We're heading on down to our favorite, one of our favorite restaurants here in Traverse City, La Señorita's Mexican, and we're going to enjoy a quick bite to eat while we're here in town. Dealer here to pick up our treasure map for the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie. They had a big treasure hunt game that went along with that, and Dominic said he remembers coming here to the fence to see the Blue Angels, right?
Yeah, yep.
Now, I remember coming here, trying to think what year it would have been, the only time I've ever seen a U.S. president in person. Me and the family came down here. It must have been what year did Richard Nixon resign? 74?
I don't know.
Had to be 75 or 76. It was for Cherry Festival. It would have been in July of 75 or 76. We came down here to the end of this little street, and we parked right here at the end. Oh, this is actually an open parking lot viewing area here, it looks like.
Dad, it says airport property, no trespassing.
Does it? Oh, yeah, we weren't supposed to see that. Anyway, all right, we'll just park right here at the end then. Gate 11, no trespassing, airport property. We'll park right here. How's that?
That works.
All right, and the control tower for Cherryland Airport is right there. Right here in this area where this runway is now, the Goodyear blimp was parked. We parked here and we got a real close-up view of the Goodyear blimp, and saw the people land it. Now I watched it take off, and just after it took off, Air Force One with the president, Gerald Ford, landed on the main runway here, along with two Coast Guard helicopters that were parked nearby. We stood here and we watched President Ford get off of Air Force One on a roll-up stairway that they pulled up to the doors. He walked down the stairs, got on one of the two helicopters, and they took off and flew directly west from here, over Garfield, to the Traverse City Country Club for a fundraiser and meeting that President Ford was going to attend. And that's the only time I've ever seen a president in person, and it was quite a ways away. But so just wanted to share that with you while we're here in Traverse City. Here's a storefront on Garfield that used to be a department store back in 1969 when we first moved to town. It was like pretty much the only chain department store here in town I can remember, other than Montgomery Ward's downtown. Anybody want to tell me the name of that if you remember it? You know, that would be great. Randy's Diner. Here at Randy's Diner, I remember when we first moved up here to Traverse City also, this was a burger joint, but it was like a very low-end burger joint with like really, really cheap burgers, like 19-cent burgers or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
If anybody remembers the name of that, I've been racking my brain trying to remember the name of that. All right, we're coming up on the Park Place Hotel here, and they're doing some renovations on the east side of the building. And we've stayed in the Park Place Hotel several times. It's a lovely place to stay. It's gotten really expensive over the last few years though, so we probably won't be staying there much anymore. But we've stayed in the wings here, which are newer, and we've stayed in the tower a couple times as well. The tower doesn't seem as nice to me. It's older and kind of strange. But, on the west side of the building here, just past Minerva's, there used to be the Holodome, kind of like a convention and show area. It was also the home of the Traverse City Cherry County Playhouse for years. And you see they tore that all down now, and they're building a new convention center there for the hotel. Windows and everything. Are you filming?
Yep.
Alright, here at this corner of 7th and Oak is the old Seventh-day Adventist church, which kind of looks like it's still a church, but has no signs or anything up saying that it still is. Might even be just a house now. There's some decorating and windows and stuff. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, we're coming up to 6th Street. This is one of my favorite places. This house here has a porte cochere on it for our carriage covering. Some of the biggest, most elaborate houses in Traverse City are on 6th Street. And 6th Street also has the brick paved surface still. You can see the natural brick surface here with a little bit of paving here and there. But this is just a great old historic neighborhood. All of the rich and famous industrial and business and captains of industry lived here on 6th Street, or possibly on the other side over on Washington Street area. But this was, like I say, one of the most ritziest, well-to-do neighborhoods in Traverse City, and still is. Henry Ford stayed here a few times. He had a good friend who lived here on 6th Street and stayed here. And the old Carnegie Library is here on 6th Street as well, even though they've made that into the History Museum now, I believe. Or maybe, oh, it says Art Center, Crooked Tree Art Center. That was the Carnegie Library for a while. The library's been moved. This is a funeral home, but that used to be the home of someone. I think that was the Perry Hanna home, the man who owned the Hanna Lay Mercantile downtown. It's just such a beautiful street. The houses are well maintained, and it's on the river over here on the other side. Just a lovely, lovely area. Alright, this is where the Traverse City Light and Power generator station used to be. They've tore that down and incorporated the property into the open space area here, which is really pretty. I still miss the zoo though, but across the street we've got the old Gilbert's gas station, and next to that, that blue and white building, which used to be a car dealership of some sort, I do believe, at one point in time, maybe back in the 30s or 40s. And when I was a youngster up here in the early 70s, it was a Suzuki motorcycle dealership. I guess the blue and white building, Gilbert's service station, and that brown color building there are all part of a process that's going to be demolished, and they're going to make way for a mid-rise apartment and condo complex, probably about the same size building as that one there. It looks like maybe 4 stories, 5 stories tall, and it's going to be fill that whole spot where those 3 buildings are, and a little bit behind that it's going to be expensive water view condos and apartments. Should do well here. Things are really booming in Traverse City right now, and there's housing shortages and labor shortages, and who knows, it's just quite a growing area up here. A lot of things changing. Alright, we're here at the Myers store in Traverse City, Michigan. Now, how many of you longtime Traverse City residents remember what this was before it was a Myers? Now, I remember coming here a few times when the other store used to be here, and in the early 70s we actually saw a display that came by that had Bonnie and Clyde's death car and Joseph Stalin's limousine in exhibition trailers that they brought here as a promotional thing to get people to come to the store, and you could see them for free. And I remember coming here and really enjoying seeing those 2 famous cars. But originally when this was here, you know, the original part of the Myers was there. Well, it wasn't Myers then, of course, but Myers took it over. They added on and changed it a little bit. The area where I'm sitting right now housed a pair of movie theaters, Cinema 1 and 2, right here in the Traverse City parking lot of Myers. I remember specifically The big thing about that I remember is that Star Wars premiered here in 1977, right, Nick? Star Wars? It played at the cinema here for 26 straight weeks.
Oh wow, that's over 6 months. Wow.
It started whenever it was released, like in May or whatever, and ended right before Thanksgiving when the Thanksgiving movies came out. At one point there was a little enclosed shopping mall over here at this end of the Meijer store that included a sagebrush denim store and a couple little smaller specialty stores. And then right here about where we're at now in the parking lot, maybe a little further over, was an actual strip mall going east and west here with about 6 stores in it too. I remember there was a Hallmark store and a furniture store of some sort and a beauty salon, maybe a coin laundromat too, I believe. So yeah, this area certainly changed a lot, I see that. But the one thing that'll be forever remembered here at this Meijer's is this is where we spent a night in the van one time, me and the boys, because I was too cheap to spring for a hotel room, and we slept in the van here in the parking lot one night. And that's a funny story everybody still gives me a hard time about when they're feeling grumpy. So